Hello and welcome to TVB News. The Antiquities Advisory Board today announced that a Sung Dynasty well that sits in the middle of the future To Kwa Wan station of the Sha Tin Central Link will be removed and reinstated later. This will add $150 million to the cost of the rail project, but much less expensive than the $1.3 billion expected if the well is left untouched in the preservation effort. Emily Lung reports.
Sitting in the middle of the future To Kwa Wan station of the Sha Tin Central Link is a Song Dynasty well, as well as a 12-meter-long water channel dating back to the late Qing Dynasty. After months of debate, the Antiquities Advisory Board today decided to remove the two structures to be reinstated later.
In principle, we focus on the interpretation value and the inherited heritage value of the well in questions, and also the water channel. In that sense, we accept the proposal to dismantle the well by hand and reinstate it in the future with the flexibility confirmed by the MTRC that there's a possibility that we could reinstate the well and the duct at the same location.
That would cost an extra $10 million to $150 million. This is a fraction of the cost expected if the board had decided not to remove the structures. According to the MTR Corporation, if these antiquities were to be kept untouched, it would have cost $1.3 billion. The extra spending will mostly be on building a giant steel structure to support and protect the antiquities. Some of the funds will also be used to relocate some of the facilities in the new station, including fire services and ventilation installations. This and other changes in the construction of the railway line in connection with the preservation efforts will mean a delay of at least 4 months in the opening of the To Kwa Wan station. The construction firm will also have to be compensated for the delay. Evelyn Lang, TVB News.
US President Barack Obama says President Xi Jinping has consolidated power more quickly than any Chinese leader in decades. But as Alan Buckner reports, Obama says that's not all positive.
He has consolidated power faster and more comprehensively than probably anybody since Deng Xiaoping. Everybody's been impressed by his clout inside of China after only a year and a half or 2 years. There are dangers in that on issues of human rights, on issues of clamping down on dissent. He taps into a nationalism that worries his neighbors and that we've seen manifest in these maritime disputes.
For Obama, a double-edged sword when it comes to Sino-U.S. relations. He believes Xi Jinping wants to have good ties with Washington. Obama said the U.S. wants to show Beijing it too wants a constructive win-win relationship. But then there are those dangers he mentioned. And Obama told the Business Roundtable group of top chief executives in corporate America that it's indisputable that Beijing has been engaging in cyber theft. Responding to Obama's comments, a foreign ministry spokeswoman said the two countries should focus on common interests despite their differences. Obama also had some tough words for another major leader, his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin.
I think the situation in Ukraine caught him by surprise. He has been improvising himself into a nationalist backward-looking approach to Russian policy that is scaring the heck out of his neighbors and is badly damaging his economy. And sanctions are having a big bite on their economy.
Alan Brooknear, TVB News.
Well, a top U.S. diplomat has once again rejected suggestions that Washington is behind the Occupy movement here in Hong Kong.
We do take sides. We take the side of justice. We take the side of freedom. We take the side of dialogue. We take the side of freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. We take the side of peaceful protest. We don't take sides with an individual or a particular group. But if you look at our statements, you'll see a consistent and clear message of support for the principle of universal suffrage in line with the basic law, support for the aspirations, the democratic aspirations of the people of Hong Kong, and importantly, support for one country, two systems.
He called on both the Hong Kong government and Occupy protesters to exercise restraint, and the diplomat said dialogue is the best way to resolve differences.
The High Court will decide tomorrow whether it would allow an appeal against a temporary injunction order covering the Admiralty Occupy protest zone. Earlier this week, the High Court granted All China Express Limited an interim injunction against protesters in parts of Connaught Road Central, Harcourt Road, and Cotton Tree Drive. The bus company submitted a map to the court this afternoon and was asked by the judge to shade the area covered by the order instead of simply outlining it. The judge also asked the company to make sure people authorized to execute the order can easily be identified. Sources say bailiffs, with the help of police, will execute the order as early as next Wednesday. The Vice Chancellor of Chinese University says the school has a mechanism in place to handle staff and students who may be found guilty of involvement in the Occupy protests. Joseph Sung has also renewed calls for students to return to school as soon as possible. Stephanie Choi reports.
Chinese University academic Chan Kin-man may face criminal charges along with other Occupy participants who have surrendered to police or plan to do so. University Vice Chancellor Joseph Sung said today whether staff and students who have turned themselves in will be fired or punished if found guilty would depend on how serious their cases are. Sung said the university has a mechanism in place and that there is a need for a committee that will consider the cases before presenting suggestions and proposals to the school council. Factors to consider include the extent of the staff or students' involvement with the movement, the impact of their actions on society and how it affects the university, Sung explained. Once again, the Vice-Chancellor called on students to go back to school as soon as they can. The Federation of Students said it's not ruling out the possibility of retreating and will discuss with occupiers over the next couple of days on the way forward. The Federation says a decision could come within a week. Meanwhile, Scholarism convener Joshua Wong and 4 others are still on hunger strike. Wong said his heart rate has gone up because he hasn't been feeling well. He apologized for drinking a glucose solution to boost his low blood sugar level after saying earlier he would only be drinking water while on hunger strike. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
17 Hong Kong tourists were among 60 people evacuated from a Hokkaido spa hotel in Japan when a fire broke out there this morning. None of the residents suffered any injuries, but their travel documents and luggage were destroyed in the blaze. Evelina Lung has more.
A huge cloud of black smoke rose from the spa hotel this morning. According to the Japanese media reports, the affected hotel is Kurakun Ryokan at Asarugawa Onsan, located near Otaru in Hokkaido. The fire broke out at around 7:30. It's believed that the blaze started near the hotel's boiler room. All 60 people in the hotel, including guests and hotel employees, managed to escape unscathed. 17 of them are visitors from Hong Kong. Their travel documents and luggage have been destroyed in the fire. The Hong Kong Immigration Department will offer assistance to the affected travelers. The Chinese Consulate General in Sapporo will help them get their replacement documents as soon as possible. This as Japanese authorities look into the cause of the fire. The spa hotel began operation in 1957. It has 38 rooms. An engineer in Hong Kong says if the fire did start at the boiler room, it could be due to a faulty safety valve. Lo Kwok-keung of the Polytechnic University's Department of Mechanical Engineering said the valve is designed to prevent the pressure of the boiler from getting too high. A failure of the valve can lead to an explosion. Evelyn Lang, TVB News.
And we'll have more after the break.
Next on 60 Minutes, the UN caring for millions of refugees from Syria's civil war. Hackers causing billions of dollars of damage to the US financial system each year. Also, lions dying cruel deaths in South Africa. Saturday night, 60 Minutes at 6:30 on Pearl.
Asia, the world's growth engine. Here, nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. But how do you find a way in? Now, opportunities in Asia are revealed like never before. From the inside, with real insights from more reporters across the region, only Nikkei Asian Review truly understands Asia.
This is Classical Music 第3集，上 CD 加 bonus DVD 有得買啦。
Direct Asia, best price guaranteed on car insurance. That's a wrap. DirectAsia.com, best price guaranteed on car insurance. Easy.
Do you dream in chocolate? Taste the Lindor truffle, created with passion by Lind's master chocolatiers. When Lindor's irresistible center starts to melt, so will you. Smooth, flowing, luscious chocolate like no other. The Lindor truffle from Lind.
對付耐藥性學菌，除咗善用抗生素，仲要揾幫手。冇錯，揾你哋幫手。
點幫手啊？勤潔手就係好幫手。喺護理病人前後。食藥之前。
咳嗽或打乞嗤之後，要用梘液或者酒精搓手液潔手。
去完廁所就一定用梘液洗手。無論用梘液抑或酒精搓手液，都要搓手最少20秒。
善用抗生素，
加埋你哋勤潔手，惡菌就冇路走。
The time now is 7:43. The time check was brought to you by Seiko.
And welcome back to TVB News. A Consumer Council report slams existing rules governing Hong Kong electricity market as unfair to consumers. It also urges more public participation and transparency in running the market. Jia De Silva with the details.
CLP Power and Hong Kong Electric have held a monopoly over separate parts of the city's electricity market for over a century. Operating under scheme of control agreements, the two power companies have been able to earn a high profit while passing business risks to consumers. That's one of the reasons a Consumer Council report puts forth for overhauling existing power market regulations. The problem is how to introduce further competition in the market while keeping electricity bills down. The study, jointly conducted by an international expert group, points out that retail market liberalization in other regions has brought benefits mostly to commercial users and not so much to domestic consumers.
What we have observed overseas is it tends to favor large industrial commercial consumers who have greater bargaining power to obtain a better deal for themselves. And so the electricity companies make less money from the large-scale commercial users, so they have to make up for the revenue shortfall elsewhere. And where do? They go to the residential consumers.
Instead, the study suggests liberalizing the power generation market and diversifying the fuel mix as a way to bring both long-term benefits to consumers and price stability to the market. As an example, it asks the